Here we go. Hey, this is Justin. This is, June 25th, 2021. Haven't been doing a ton of recording and the walking and talking recently. Been focusing on the book, The Art of Impossible, and creating systems around creating impossible results. And one, to start to introduce free talks as a way to be able to surface ideas and concepts that might be able to make a difference in the long term. So one of the things I'm super excited about is breaking down each of the activities into a system that can actually have something real get created out into the world. So in the perfect world, these things get transcribed, they get edited, they get updated, or there's enough systems in the background from these conversations to actually turn into something real. So this is a way to start to play around with it as we are on a long walk. So major lifestyle changes over the last couple of weeks. Number one, been back in the gym, which has been nice. Been training Muay Thai, which is just started doing about a month and a half ago, 3 times a week, which inside of the Art of Impossible system is it's an exercise activity. It's a high flow activity. I think there's also some of the other flow triggers that get activated through Muay Thai, just because there's some fears and stuff that come up during those conversations. So definitely a high value activity inside of the system. Also been back into Dave Asprey's book, Fast This Way, which is a book on fasting. So consume that via audiobook, and finally bit the bullet, quote unquote, or bit the bullet. I didn't mean to say it that way, but and bought some bulletproof coffee. So what I've been doing is fasting effectively until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I drink a bulletproof coffee at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that carries me through most of the day as far as eating goes. So that's been a fun little exercise and activity that keeps the mind fresh and motivated throughout the day. Starting to do the fasting, dropped about 10 pounds working that way, and then also working our way back into corporate space. And all things go well, towards the end of the summer, I'll be back kind of doing a role, and excited about bringing sort of a athlete's mind to the conversation. So the last 9 months have been focused on asynchronous and walking and talking. Asynchronous work, I think, is going to be so huge going forward. And it's going to take a couple of years at least for it to bleed into some of the larger corporations and be able to transform the way the work is done in the larger corporations. And this type of work of just literally off the top of the dome freestyle talking is probably going to be more than a couple years away. So what's going to happen? This is going to get published as a podcast. It'll go out to a website afterwards. People will listen to it, or they won't listen to it afterwards. And then I will probably take the audio version and bring it down to Otter, so to be able to start to transcribe it and start to make it into something else out in the world. So I've been really focusing on a couple of different systems over the last about a month and a half ago. It's now systems that come out of books. My belief is books typically have to be well researched and thought through and executed in a way that they're able to work. They're also, whereas like articles and other ways of being able to connect with people aren't as good. So I've been reading books for high quality information, been implementing the systems inside of the books to start to change the way we operate. So from a work perspective, Art of Impossible, kick that toe again. Art of Impossible is my favorite book from a work perspective. From a health perspective, I'm reading Game Changers from 2018, and I think along with that there's like a 500-page PDF which starts to break down a lot of the resources that are available in that book. So Dave Asprey's goal is to live healthily till 180 years, which is quite an amazing goal. To live healthily for 180 years. And so starting to take some of the lessons that go into there. So starting to work on the diet and starting to work on managing stress. And there's a new concept I've been I dubbed it for myself independently healthy, which is being healthy without the dependency on doctors. He uses the term undoctored, which sort of like that term as well, for not having to rely on doctors for our health and safety measures. So that's going to be the next area to start to dig into and to start to work through. And starting to think that way makes things a little bit more healthy, I guess is the right word. Makes a little bit more eye-opening ways to be able to operate and work. One of the other things I've been thinking about, a big stressor as we go back and forth between New York and Pennsylvania, is the drive through the city. And I live, the place we've been staying in Pennsylvania is close to the Poconos Motor Speedway, so might start to take some classes and start to learn there as a way to be able to confront the fears around driving through the city and going back and forth between our home in New York and the city. And also want to get ready and get updated I'm actually really excited about this. Get ready for being sitting through meetings, because again, I think we are a couple of months away, or a couple of years away from asynchronous work being the primary ways that people work, and starting to cut out commutes and cut out other options. So what's beautiful is it is 1:39 right now. I'm feeling like morning energy throughout the day. Things feel a little bit brighter in having the bulletproof coffee earlier in the day, and then starting to eat real food or other foods later in the afternoon and later in the evening. So going to mess around with some of the fasting, going to mess around with eating some of the other foods. What else? We're starting to look at camps for the summer and kids activities for summer vacation. So they're going to be spending some of the time on the beach, starting to look at some of the camps for the kids. We do realize these long walks in the afternoons are going to be really great for brainstorming and just getting ideas that are rattling around inside the head, outside the head. I think I mentioned it already inside of work. These not necessarily going to be consumable for other people, only to potentially inspire other people to do their brainstorming this way, and then developing workflows around these type of brainstorms to turn our ideas into real things out in the world. That's fun. That's exciting. Just being able to hold the phone up as walking through the woods is a fun way to be able to operate and to be able to move through, and then starting to get these items transcribed. It's also probably a good way to start to test our speech and start to test what the filler words are in the work. Like that is the filler words in what we are speaking and creating. So in a perfect world, there would be some sort of AI that would take this file and take the transcript of this conversation and then turn it into something else out there, something in the world. So we'll take this audio, we'll run it through Otter. Otter will feed a word cloud, which starts to give some of the metadata of the things that we're talking about, and then can also dig into some of the other dig into some of the other components from this work. I see it as a way to talk about projects that may or may not be on track, and to bring projects back on track just through speaking and just through creating something new. That's interesting, actually. So being able to speak things into reality. So if you look at the ideas to reality at the speed of thought, you got to be able to believe that things are going to come through. So there's a belief system that is for the things that you feel are just going to happen, right? You'd have almost being a clear vessel for things to happen effectively. And the second one is being able to show people and to be able to document how things are going to be able to work, to be able to put things in writing in a way. That's where it's going to get super interesting. Put things in writing in a way that is meaningful for people, right? To get them documented. So it's getting things in writing and then getting things into systems that demonstrate to anybody who looks at it without a shadow of a doubt that things are going to work. It doesn't have to be without a shadow of a doubt. It doesn't have to be that level. But a human being could spend 5 minutes looking at the work that's getting created. And I think that is which I haven't implemented myself yet, but Amazon doing the 6-page memos for their projects, doing those 6-page memos starts to clarify thinking around the work that they're doing now. Creating a 6-page memo takes a lot of effort, but once you're able to do that, it will. Once you're able to do that, the work is that much more. It's not mature, but it's that much further along. So I do like that. The model of the 6-page memos for projects to be able to clarify what's happening. Okay, so now being inside of a culture where they're not operating that way, and if people don't necessarily want to do that work, then people don't necessarily want to do the work to do the 6-page memo that can get beat up and tested. Then find out what the main driver is, like what they want to potentially get out of the project and out of the work that is getting created. So that'll be another fun way to be able to work. So that's it. I wonder, I just went live, but I don't even know what I called this thing. I can't remember what I called it, but I'm going to end it here. And that was it. Have an amazing day.